Awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and queue up, and I'm going to queue up with my favorite perk build. Um, I think that perk is really good for Nurse because it really synchronizes well with her blinks. It really enables her to, kind of drive home the power that she has and really helps you close out Chase. As we all know, perk is pretty much something you have to run with Nurse every single time. I think it's important to really balance out the fact that she has some shortcomings with when she gets hit with endurance and her timing problems. And that's also why I bring Perk, because with her lower movement speed, dealing with gen regression is kind of annoying. You don't want to spend the time kicking a generator when you should be staying in chase and teleporting towards survivors, and that's why I really like running Perk. Oh, and then Perk. So this one's kind of an oddball choice, but it's really helped me in a lot of games because I feel like a lot of people aren't expecting you to be running Perk with Nurse. It's a really important piece of her kit because it lets you really deal with those problems that survivors present just by continuing the game state and trying to maintain an advantage over you as the killer. And then for the add-ons, we have add-on 1. Add-on 1, I think, is really good. It's kind of a niche choice, but I think it's only a niche choice because a lot of people try to run something else. You have things like Campbell's Last Breath, which are really situational, but when it really comes down to it, Perk 1 is good, but it's really only rewarded by running Perk 2. And that's where we really nail home the game, is Perk 2. It looks like we're getting into a match, but Perk 2 is the one that really drives home how powerful Nurse can be. Excuse me, Add-on 2 is the one that really drives home how good Nurse can be. So we have Perk 1, Perk 2, Perk 3, and Perk 4. All of those synergize really well with her kit. We have Add-on 1, which I think does a really good job of covering up for some of her inconsistencies. And then we have Add-on 2, which does a really good job of just kind of, you know, making Nurse the killer that she is. Add-on 2, quintessential Nurse add-on. Really the only thing you should be running if you're playing Nurse. Awesome. We're going to get into the match now. And let's see if we can get ourselves a 4K. Again, as always, we want to make sure that we're having a fun game and that we're letting the survivors know that this is about having a fun time. And we do this by making sure we run a sweaty competitive build. So let's go ahead and we have perk 1, perk 2, perk 3, and perk 4, and then add on 1 and 2. Somebody in chat asked, what about the perk where you see them healing? I think Nurse's Calling is a perfectly fine perk, but when you're really running a competitive Nurse build, you want to make sure that you cover up for all of her inconsistencies, and getting knowledge on when a survivor is injured is really good, but I think perk 4 is better for that. Awesome. So we're going to go ahead and we're starting our Garden of Joy. I like to be sweaty and say things like survivor spawn logic, even though it doesn't really mean anything. But I'm going to guess that they're spawning near main, just because of the generator density and the fact that if they spawn over there, then it's the opposite direction of where I'm heading, and that'll be annoying. And behavior would never want to annoy me like that. Let's see if we don't see anyone. No, I do not. We do not see anyone right now. I am of the impression... There they are. I was going to say I'm of the impression that behavior did this to me specifically. But it's okay. I forgive them. Bonk. I am going to get... Nope. I thought there was going to be a flashlight right there. But they did not commit, or they don't have a flashlight. But I see a... I don't know. All these new survivors. I see Claudette too. I guess she's not. I guess this survivor's not really new. structure. We're making sure the integrity of that wall. That was if I was doing my duty as a killer, which is to make sure that the trials are safe for survivors. It's an important part of the experience as a killer. You have to make sure that the survivors' fun is your foremost focus, because if they're not having fun, then behavior's not having fun. I don't know why this Michaela is... That's Kate. I don't know why Blonde Woman is on second hook right now and down. I feel like Blonde Woman doesn't want to play the game right now. I'm sorry, Blonde Woman. I say Blonde Woman as if Michaela's also blonde, but she's a redhead, which is definitely not blonde. I hear something? Hello! Alright, another survivor. We're gonna yoink. We're gonna make our way up. Hello, Blonde Woman. I don't know why Blonde Woman is on the ground right now. She tripped and fell. I'm going to guess that this is a Medal of Man play, because she does have... There it is Medal of Man, okay. Or Power Struggle, not Medal of Man. Medal of Man is the perk that pairs well with Power Struggle, where it increases... Alright, I'm gonna guess... I'm not gonna guess DS. I just wanted her to go away. I think she had a flashlight. I don't assume DS, because she had to do an action with Plot Twist. I think Plot Twist excludes you from getting DS. And not to mention I was also sitting there for more than a minute. So, as we can see, these planters, really structurally sound. I would trust my life with those planters. I don't know who built this wall like that. The double wall seems a little unneeded. I will have to talk to OSHA. I feel like there's some kind of violation there. Awesome. We are going to get another hooky hook. We are at 4 gens right now, and I have 1 dead. I don't know how she got to second hook state, if I'm being honest. I think she took her chances, but I thought they balanced that some, where you weren't able to take chances when everyone in the trial is, like, actively doing things. It's like anti-trolling stuff. But maybe I'm crazy. We all know that behavior loves their balancing. I don't see anyone. So, being serious for a second, being vertical with Nurse is actually really good. You would think you want to, like, constantly be in a state where you are never really being higher up than the survivors. You would think that you want to continue keeping chase by being on the same level as them and, like, pushing that envelope. But the way Nurse's teleport logic works is you're extending an invisible circle in front of you, and the longer you hold your blink, that circle... I'm just making sure that he knows I'm here. You know, I think it's very important that the survivors understand that I am also fallible. That way they don't immediately give up. Like that. But then, you know, we have to show them that we know what we're doing. So you gotta get the blinded blink. That way you can tell them, hey, you did drop a pallet on me, but also please don't do that anymore. I didn't like it. And I don't think anybody's over here. So we are going to rotate back towards main. Do I think anybody's in main? No, until somebody's in main and I look good saying it. See? So, nobody's in main right now, but I also didn't think there was. That's the secret. Whatever happens in the moment is exactly what I thought was going to happen. That's a key part of being good with the killer. Alright, so. We know somebody's behind that bush there. the way Nurse teleport logic works, there's an invisible circle. Being vertical means that I can kind of choose where that circle goes. It's only going to go up to about that log pile there, because if I aim here and like go, there's the log pile. There they are. Hello, Fancy Dwight. I like your fancy clothes. But yeah, so you kind of teleport there and you go, hello! Hello, Starshine. You kind of teleport there and then, you know, you can do that a lot easier. I think this was supposed to be a bully squad because I'm seeing a lot of boil over. There were some blinkers and a toolbox. But I think that blonde girl sacrificing herself for the good of the killer just kind of upset the balance of power here. But yeah, verticality is actually really good on Nurse because if you want to move further when you teleport as Nurse, you want to look vertical because you don't want to cause something to shrink the radius of that circle you're extending out from your body. Hello! My friend. You don't want to cause something to shrink that circle, the distance that that circle is able to reach, and you can really prevent that by looking up, so changes in elevation don't impact that invisible circle you're setting out in front of yourself. You know, I'm glad that he went for the save. I would have Fancy Dwight also died that quick. So I was just going to say, we know they're not going to heal on hook because I have been very impressive this match, and that's usually not the thing that they want to do when you're already getting pressured. You don't want to give the killer a space to know where you are. Now, of course, that's a good survivor. So this tree, it's actually up to code. It's very important that you check the stability of the trees. I think one of the most important things to remember about these trees is the foliage. You may only just want to check the trunk, but the actual foliage itself is another important key. You don't want to branch Yeah, I am having a hard time believing that this wasn't like a bully Swift, because this is the second person that has thrown themselves into plot twist just because, for giggles. If I was going to put myself in a plot twist because I really wanted to like heal myself without letting Dwight do his job because his clothes are too fancy, I would go edge map. But I'm also an idiot, and I would not actually go edge map. I would go bum. You're not the guy I was looking for, Fancy Dwight. Sorry, bud. So, this is you are a guy I was looking. Hey. It's not a map, but I'm gonna count it. But that's enough. Here you go. There he goes. Alright, so I could sweat for the 4K here and be like, oh, I'm gonna get the 4K by forcing him to, you know, engage with me and down him too. But I already feel like I'm gonna be getting a lot of hate in the in-game chat, so I would rather just present the idea that I'm playing normally, and instead cart him as close to Shack as I can get, and then go. The fact that they're so dedicated to the idea of getting the Shack makes me think maybe there's an offering. Did I see one? No, not really. But there we go. This map is weird hatch spawn logic. Bye, Vittorio. I'll miss you. Womp womp. And now it's time for the most important part. In order to assert your dominance as a killer, you need to drag them back into Shack, the place that they thought they were safe. You're going to drag them downstairs. You're going to remind them why this is Killer Shack. You're going to let them go, and then you're going to give them a kiss. And then you just squeeze until the lights go out. There we go. Night. And there we go. And that is a 4K with a perkless, itemless nurse. Now, look at their perks. We have... Is it really only 2 instances of boil over? I know Talita. That's her name, Talita, not discount. Yeah, Kate Denson, blonde lady. She had boil over, flip flop. How did she? Oh, plot twist. Yeah, duh. I don't know. I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe 2 people. I think Vittorio and Kate were pairing together just because their kit is kind of weirdly like synergistic, and that's kind of a strange thing. All right, so as I do perkless nurse, if I was using perks. So we're gonna actually run nurse with perks. Fragile Weed, Blink Attacks Inflict Mangled. This is so if I lose chase, I don't have to worry about them healing anytime quicker. Bad Man's Last Breath, undetectable after a successful blink attack. This helps me really catch up on people where I manage to get a hit, and then they gain distance, but they go behind a wall, or they play the whole game of, I'm gonna like hide out and wait. Lethal Pursuer, Auras of Survivors for 9 seconds. Duration for everything else is extended by 2 seconds. I mostly like it for that last bit because, like I said, I like to pretend that I'm really sweaty at this game. So, Survivor Aura duration for 2 seconds longer for every Aura reveal is nice. Aura of all survivors for 9 seconds. I'm just going to pretend that I understand survivor spawn logic and go, yeah, I know where they're going to spawn. I don't need that. Barbecue and chili. We already know what that does. Hook a survivor. Aura of all survivors who are at least 40 meters away. It is revealed for 5 seconds. 7 seconds with Lethal Pursuer. Scourge, Hook, Pain Res. I made the joke about this when I was talking about the perk listeners. Pain Res. You do not want to be kicking generators as nurse. It is a waste of your time. There are perks like Jolt and things like that that are better suited for this, but I like Pain Res because I like the feeling of going, I have to catch so-and-so survivor and hook them on this special hook. It gives me a secondary objective to worry about, so I'm not constantly thinking, who do I got to tunnel to win? And then Predator. Predator is really, really good with Nurse. You wouldn't think so because this perk used to be bad. It used to just reveal scratch marks for longer and make them brighter, but using Predator with Nurse now, when you stop chasing a survivor, you see their aura for 4 seconds. You know who loses chase with survivors often? Because she's really slow, goes into a fatigued state after she hits somebody, and also has a teleport that can really capitalize on this extra 4 seconds you can get. That's right, Nerf Pig. We're going to go ahead and give it 2 minutes here and see if we can't get ourselves another match. Cut this part out. When I'm done recording this video, edit this part out. Dawn, edit this part out. Don't leave this in. Hey man, I know you're thinking to yourself, I'll remember to do this, edit this part out. Even if you have to make your girlfriend do it, edit this part out. Making loud, I don't know, like sometimes the big name streamers make loud noises to let them know when the mic peaks. Edit this part out. Bum, ba, bum. Awesome. So we're going to play Nurse with actual perks now. Last match was perkless Nurse. I'm also recording. I'm trying this new thing where I record the first 2 matches when I play because that's usually when I'm in the most zoned in. And then after I'm done recording them, then I, add them to YouTube or whatever. I haven't made a YouTube channel yet, and I doubt anybody's ever going to actually watch them. But I'm like, well, I'm sitting on free content if I'm streaming, and I can just record my stream. Spin, spin, spin. And then I can like find the cool highlight moments and make them into what do you call them? YouTube shorts and TikToks, and I'll become TikTok famous. I'll be like that I'll be like Epidemi. Nurse goes where she pleases. I can't be Ghost Arcade because I don't have an accent. I was never going to let that blonde lady survive, by the way. I saw your message saying kill her. I was never gonna let her survive. If you throw yourself into second hook while trying to get your watch this be I'm gonna feel so bad if this is the Kate that died. So Killer Kitten, if you were the Kate that died, I apologize for being mean to you. I assume this is somebody that Fall knows. Maybe not. Anyway, if you are that Kate, then I have nothing mean to say about you at all, and you're very nice, and it's very cool that you came to say a message in my stream. But if you aren't that Kate, yeah, that Kate was never gonna live. Oh, okay, cool, cool, cool. All right, I was just worried. I was like, well, sometimes I forget user names, and people would just like pop in and be like, "Hey." I think one person popped in, and I was making fun of them in the moment, and they were like, "Oh, I was that so and so you played against," and I was like, "Oh, all right." We are queued into our next match. I don't see any flashlights, so I'm not expecting a lot of altruism. I do see three toolboxes, which means we're probably not getting Jin rushing, because I think Jin rushing is kind of a misnomer now. Like the game, I don't know. I've never enjoyed the phrase Jin rushing in Dead by Daylight because survivors have literally one objective in the whole game, and that is to do the generators. So if you're telling the survivor that doing the generators is bad, then what else are they supposed to do? Like nobody, excuse me, not everybody is skilled enough to like run loops the whole game and like really drive home to the killer that behavior knows where the money's coming from. Excuse me, that's rumor and conjecture. But yeah, not everybody's to be able to run loops, and so having people that are dedicated to just doing gens is bound to happen, and I don't think there's a problem with it. But yes, this is Nurse with Perks, Nurse with Perks, Nurse with Perks, which means I'm no longer hindering myself. This is like Goku when he takes off the weighted clothing, and then shit, was it Piccolo? Who was it? It may have been Piccolo. I'm going to assume it was Piccolo, but it was probably some like jobber like Yamcha or something. But I'm going to assume it was Piccolo because he's cool. So, it's like that Goku scene where he like undid the belt of his pants and was like, Piccolo, I want your green cucumber. Yeah, there was no way that was going to happen. I got overzealous. Be waiting for second blink. I'm taking this Yui chase because I wanted to, I guess. But also, I'm taking the Yui chase because, there's like a single gen over there, and I don't think that single gen is real. I don't think them getting 4 gens done is really going to contribute to the massive success that they're going to have this game. That, and it gives me a target for pain res. I hate the feeling of running pain res, and then the first time that I can use pain res is on a generator with like fuck all progress on it. Where'd you go? I swear to God you were down here. Or did I see a piston and go, yeah, that's Dwight. Hi, Dwight. So that seems like a mistake, and usually I make the joke about like, oh, it's a mistake until it works, and then I meant to do it. But I did actually mean to do that short blink. Earlier when I was chasing towards Dwight, he does this thing that I noticed where he finishes the loop completely. He doesn't really wait to see if I'm actually going to continue. Hello! don't camp me. Don't worry. I'm not going to have to camp you. I do not believe that me needing to camp you will be an issue this game. That's mean. I don't want to be mean. I'm being mean. Hello! Yui, what are you doing? You're out of position. I wonder what that Yui was like. What was going through her head? She was just like, oh. So I shouldn't be doing it because I am running perks. It's just force of habit. When I'm running perkless, returning to hook is pretty much your best way to like get value out of chase. Because if you down somebody and then downing them means that someone else comes to engage, they're going to be right here. Got him. See? Psychic. You have to understand survivor logic. A survivor's not going to run straight and like try to work their way through this to get over here or to get down into the catacombs. No, they're going to hug the wall. They love walls. Survivors feel at their safest when there's a wall next to them. So, you just think about where is the wall, and then you hit them. Or rather, you teleport to where the wall is, and then you hit them. This is gonna be... Let me see if I can get the pick. No. I don't know why I even swung. It was obvious, and he heard me screaming, and then he went, yep. Oh. You know what? I was on about my wall theory, and I said, Dwight's gonna want to be where there's 3 walls. But, you know, I guess technically, if we really think about it, there's a wall here, and then you got that little T there, so that's almost 3 walls, right? I'm counting it. Dwight still went to where there's the most walls. I'm counting it. Pink ball. All right, so we have 1 person up there. The fact that I don't see anybody else means that they're all within 40 meters of me. There's probably someone... Yep. Hello! So, one of the things that you want to try to do as nurse is to teleport into the locker. That way, when a survivor goes to get inside of it, you can jump out and scare them, just like Dredge. All right, so they're going to be right here. All right, so I thought, incorrectly, mind you, I thought that they were going to be staying shack because just like walls, a lot of survivors feel a sense of safety when they're inside of shack. That sense of safety, fucking Sean Connery. That sense of safety is very quickly thrown away when you smack them on the other side of shack pallet after they just got done burning it. But, you know, safety is safety. There's this concept in real life called security theater, which is things that you do that don't actually contribute to the security of an organization, but you do them because it makes the people in charge feel better. And shack is is a security theater. It feels like you should be safe there, but then you're not. Hello, Yui. See? You're never safe in shack. Shack isn't a place to go to, like, take a chase. Shack is where you go when the killer catches you, and then they throw you in basement. Not a good place to be. Bonk. Jeez, behavior. I lose a gen and the whole game falls apart. You know, I get it. That lag was because behavior was like, ah, jeez. There's no way that a nurse lost 2 gens. You know, if I had my second teleport, if I was paying attention to my meters... This is like WoW. I really need to keep an eye on my meters and make sure that I'm activating my skills when I need to. My DPS is really dipping. Let's see. Oh, there we go. And I know that somebody was over here. Hey, there they are. That wasn't gonna do it. I could make the checking the stability of the barrel joke, but, you know, that was just bad gameplay. All right, so we have a Yui with no hooks. The fact that she has no hooks means that I haven't seen her yet, which means one of two things. She's either hanging out in the locker, or she's just better at the game than I am. I refuse to believe the second one, so I don't see her. And she can't be within 40 meters because I, like, drove this other survivor all the way out here just to see if I could see her. And I don't, which means she is probably in a locker somewhere. And you know what happens when you're in a locker. Yeah, alright, there we go. So, pretty obvious what's going on right now. They both hate me and they don't want me to get my 4K. It's okay, because, you know, the hatch is right there. You can almost guarantee, not guarantee, that sounds a little too, like, finalistic. It is a very high certainty that if a survivor throws themselves at the mercy of the killer while their friend has no hooks and they're not expecting their friend to come save them, and they just, like, let themselves die on hook, that they're probably trying to do some kind of hatch play. And usually that only works when your friend knows where the hatch is. Alright, so nobody there. We're going to look vertical, get more distance. Nobody there. So what had happened was, one of them had a key. Who brings a key into the trial in the year of our Lord 2026? Awesome. So they got Shaq. I missed out on 3 hooks. We're not going to be angry. We listen and we don't judge. Good job on Adept. Glad you got out. I am going to pretend that I am being supportive of them right now while I silently seethe within. Good luck next. Don't ever let me see you again. Awesome. So, I want to thank everybody for watching me. I hope you enjoyed this video. For everybody that's in chat right now watching me, I'm recording this as part of a YouTube video as well, so, you know, yay! Awesome. But yeah, thank you for watching. Have a good day. I'm pogged out of my gourd. That's going to be my catchphrase. I'm going to say I'm pogged out of my gourd. I hope everybody likes it.